And look who's back again. Welcome into Betting the PFL, but this is no regular event. We're going supersized for the final event of 2024. As always, I am the coach, my partner, Ian Parker, and this is really divided. Friday, November 29th, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And Ian, when I look at how many fights we're going to have, let's start ESPN Plus with the first bunch. We've got showcase fights. We got PFL MENA championships. What do you see here? 10 right now that are scheduled.
Coach, I love some of these fights. The return of Jesus Pinedo. We're getting someone in Van Steenis who could be up next for Johnny Eblen. And we got some really great fights out of PFL MENA. Some of these guys could be in the global championship next year. Some really solid talent we're going to see out of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that's how important this night is, because with victory comes opportunity, and that's what the PFL in 2025 is truly going to be about. And then, Ian, for the sixth straight year, 6 different weight classes, 6 different $1 million checks that are going to be handed out Friday, November 29th. We've got a lot of guys that have earned their place on this night.
It's truly incredible. I think it's the first time ever that everyone going into the finals is a perfect 3-0. So someone's O has got to go. We're going to have new champions. And Coach, could it be the year that Goltsov actually does it? We're going to find out very soon.
We'll get to all of those $1 million fights coming up a little bit later on here on the show. And I just also wonder how long, Ian, you worked on that one line for the show. My guess, a long time. All right, let's get into it. The first fight we're talking about, Jesus Pinedo taking on Jeremy Kennedy. There are showcase fights. And Ian, I don't know if for a lot of these fighters like these two, there's been more pressure, because now we're looking at an opportunity in 2025 that could ultimately turn into $1 million. And it starts here. What do you make of this matchup?
Pinedo won last year. We haven't seen him since, and he's taking on someone in Kennedy who was beating Little Pitbull. And then he got knocked out in the third round. So for Kennedy, it's a chance to get back to title contention, whether it's Bellator or to get into the PFL season next year. And for Pinedo, was it a fluke? I don't know. But now we're going to get a chance to see him back. And I think he wants to defend his title. I think he wants big fights. He's got to get through Kennedy first, who's a very solid opponent.
If you want big fights, you have to win time. The times of, hey, we can go 2-1 or 3, those days are over if you want to fight for $1 million a year from now in the PFL. Now, fans do not want to waste when they tune in on Friday, because right out of the chute, we have Castelo Van Steenis taking on João Dantas. How do you make this showcase fight play out in your mind?
Steenis has to get this done by finish. He is somebody that has been around Bellator for a bit. He just returned back, came off a pretty solid win, but with a finish, he could be next in line to fight Johnny Eblen for the middleweight title. I like him to get it done by TKO or KO. If you can get a good price of double method of victory, even by decision, that's okay too. But Coach, this is a very good striker. I think he's got a good matchup for himself here.
Every time I hear the name Johnny Eblen, I'm here for it. And that shows the level that these guys are certainly at. Let's transition now over to the Global Championship. And Ian, this is going to be incredible. 6 different fights. They all potentially, I hope not, potentially though, could go 5 rounds. The winner will win $1 million. And we're going to start with the Heavyweight World Championship. Denis Goltsov and Oleg Popov. You've already talked about how all of these fighters, every single one, are 3-0. They have not tasted defeat in 2024. Something has to give. What do you see here?
This one's really, really tough. I'm a big Goltsov guy. You know this. We've taken him almost every single time we've cashed. But what concerns me is his fight against Linton Vassell. He was getting taken down at will. His cardio didn't look great. Popov is a guy who's been taking people down at will, and his cardio has looked great. And he's the underdog here. So I got a couple of ideas on how to play this. If you want to take Goltsov early and it gets past round 1, live bet Popov. Nothing wrong with that. But Coach, let's take it a step further. If the books are as smart as you and I, they're going to place this at over 2.5 rounds. I hope they don't. I hope they're really stupid and go over 1.5, because this is going to be a wrestling match. A lot of clinching. When that happens, the clock goes and goes. So let's go over 1.5 rounds. If we don't get that line and it goes over 2.5, I'm comfortable doing that too. I think Popov is very durable. Goltsov's got to keep it on the feet. Let's go over 1.5. If have to, over 2.5 rounds.
Now, we talk about it all the time. The juice, is it worth the squeeze? And so, a lot of times when we're talking about the difference between over 1.5 and over 2.5, a book will take it to a certain level, say over 1.5 at minus 170 or minus 180. Then they'll switch it over to over 2.5 at perhaps minus 110 or even money. What would be the number that, depending on the book, because of course we use all of our DraftKings lines, but what's as high as you would go with something like this?
Over 1.5, minus 185, I think is a comfortable number. I think you just said that absolutely perfectly, because my hope is that if we do go over 2.5, we're getting like a plus 105, plus 110. I think this fight goes over 3.5, but we don't need to get too crazy here. I like what you just said. You hit it right on the button.
One point that you didn't really hit on, and I'm interested to see why, Ian. When I look at Popov, he's got the longest winning streak of any heavyweight in the world, in any organization, period. 17 wins in a row. Why are you not more bullish on the fact that he could get 18 wins in a row?
It's not to discredit what he has done, because so far in the PFL, he's done what he's been asked to do. Who he's fought against, he's beaten them. But coach, when you fight outside the organizations like the PFL and other major organizations, the level of competition sometimes is questionable. And for me, he hasn't fought someone like a Goltsov. He hasn't fought someone like a big Steve Mowry prior to the PFL. So for me, I go by the litmus test, the resume, what he's done so far, the what have you done for me lately, and he's passed the test. I'm giving him an A+ so far across the board in his PFL showing. But prior to that, if you go look at some of the guys he's fought, the records, they're not very good. These aren't people that wouldn't be signed by any major organization. So sometimes you got to take that with a pound of salt, not even a grain. It doesn't mean he's not skilled. It doesn't mean he's not belong where he should be, but sometimes it's not something that I directly look at and really carry much weight into a fight like this.
I say it all the time. There are hashtag levels to this game. And certainly in the MMA world, with so many different levels, it's really good to get the educated take from somebody like the Duck. All right, let's move on to the next one of 6 global championship $1 million fights. And it takes place in the lightweight division. You got Brent Primus taking on Gazi Rabadanov. Where are you headed on this one?
I'm going to go with Rabadanov here. Now, Brent Primus has looked fantastic, but he's been very, what's the word for it? Getting very favorable matchups. Someone who's got a great ground game. He's fighting guys that don't have great takedown defense. We love our Clay Collard, right? He's one of our favorite guys, but he gets taken down at will. He's comfortable fighting on the ground against Brent Primus. Can't do that. Primus was on his back for the entire time until he got the finish. Rabadanov's got phenomenal takedown defense, probably better wrestling than Primus. And on the feet, Primus does have great power, but his striking is a little stiff, a little predictable. He's not very fluid in his boxing. Rabadanov very much is, and we saw Rabadanov get that knockout in his last fight. So, coach, for me, I think Rabadanov is going to get it done, possibly in round 4 or 5. If you can get the double method of victory, you're going to pay a lot more by decision along with that, because he's not going to sub Primus. His jiu-jitsu is way too good. Also, in the last time we saw Primus fight 5 rounds, he was gassing. Rabadanov does not gas. So we're going to take Rabadanov here. I would say by TKO or KO. If you could add the decision without paying a lot for it, fine. But I think he gets it done by knockout.
I think you just brought up a really good point that some of these fighters need to embrace. What we've seen the last couple of years is some fighters and their camps say, you know what, let's be conservative. Let's feel our way out, maybe a round or two, instead of coming out and say, listen, what we're best at is getting a quick finish. I don't care if I'm fighting for $1 million. Do what I'm best at, because the nerves can't play a part. And we've seen that happen, especially fighting for the biggest payday of their careers. All right, moving on to the welterweight championship. Magomed Umalatov taking on Shamil Musayev. And you don't have to say it in. I know I'm crushing the names in the show so far. Your take on fight number 3.
That was perfect. You're killing it right now.
Thank you.
Going into the season, this was supposed to be the year of Umalatov, and I could see why. He's got great power in his punches. He's got good striking. But Musayev, in my opinion, has been the dark horse of this division, the MVP. No one expected him to come in here. He was the underdog. We cashed the first time he won by knockout. He had a rematch. He won again. On the feet, Musayev is the better striker. He's a world-class kickboxer. His takedown defense is so good. If Umalatov can't get an early knockout or get this fight to the floor, I'm taking the underdog here in Musayev. I think that he has just shown tremendous evolution throughout. Umulatov is not getting those finishes he was in past years. This is going to be a very exciting fight, more competitive than what the odds say. Coach, I think the dog barks here. I think we're going to get our surprise of the evening with this one. Let's go with Musayev.
There is nothing more I like than a live dog with really good plus odds, and you just found one. That is fight number 3. Pivoting now to our next fight. I got to tell you, one of the great stories the last couple of years inside the PFL is the story of Impa Kasanganay. But this matchup for another $1 million is one we've never seen before. How will a fresh opponent for Impa raise the level of his game, or will, on the other side, we have a underdog story that will be completed with a $1 million check?
Impa Kasanganay, the 2023 champion, looking to go back-to-back. We've never had a repeat champion in the PFL light heavyweight division. Knocked out Alex Polizzi. He's coming off of big stoppage victories in the regular season. Impa Kasanganay! Gonna get the finish here. He's the only one with an opportunity to take home a second light heavyweight belt. Oh, that foot slapped right off of the jaw. Neto's in trouble. He's in big trouble here. Oh, and there's the finish.
Ian, if I wasn't hyped before, damn it, I am hyped now. So we put Impa Kasanganay, who's now established himself as a PFL star, in the ring with Davlet Yagshimuradov. I don't know what to expect. You're the expert. What do you expect?
Coach, we love ourselves some Impa Kasanganay, don't we? He's made us a lot of money. He puts on a good show. It's a great story. But Yagshimuradov, in my opinion, has been the shining star this season that we didn't see coming. Beating Razor Rob Wilkinson in a striking situation was unexpected. Wilkinson couldn't take him down. Davlet Yagshimuradov is big. He's got good kicks. And Impa, which we never really talk about, he's really a middleweight fighting at 205. When he fought Josh Silveira is also a smaller 205er. So, Coach, I think the dogs are going to be barking. Not saying this is who I would necessarily want to win as a fan. I think Yagshimuradov is going to surprise people, keep the fight on the feet. I believe he's the better striker. I think his kicks are going to matter. Cardio-wise, it's always Impa. But if Impa can't push this pace and get Yagshimuradov to gas out, I think this becomes more of an even fight. I'm going with the underdog plus money on Yagshimuradov.
So far, I've heard a lot of dogs that are barking. Let's go. That's exactly what I want to see come Friday, November 29th, only on ESPN+. Now, our co-main event of the evening. I love myself a little rivalry. I like Ian Parker when it gets a little, I don't know, personal. And prior to the 2024 season even kicking off, Tyler Santos went after Dakota Ditcheva, who is arguably not just the biggest female star in the PFL. She might be the biggest star in the PFL. And she said, among other quotes, I want to take certain things from the Barbie. You call a female fighter a Barbie. Those are fighting words, darn it. So now they get a chance. Santos is going to get a chance one-on-one for a chance to win $1 million. You can't get any better than this.
Coach, the way you and Tyler Santos keep calling Dakota Barbie, if she does win, she better get a really good endorsement deal and be like Karate Barbie. There's no question there. If anyone can talk that type of smack, it's Tyler Santos. Arguably beat Valentina Shevchenko, who's the current UFC champion. Fought people like Erin Blanchfield, and in the PFL, she's undefeated. Coach, the theme for me has been underdogs. She has the tools to beat Dakota Ditcheva. We saw Jenna Bishop take Dakota down. Tyler Santos is a better wrestler, better jiu-jitsu practitioner, and has good striking. If she can get Dakota down, I think she wins this fight. Dakota is a shining star, and even if she loses, she's still young in her career. At plus 200 and change where the line is right now, I like Tyler Santos in this fight. She's smart. If she gets to fight against the cage, gets her to the floor, she can steal rounds. She's got a very high fight IQ. She knows what Dakota could do. She's fought strikers like this, a la Valentina Shevchenko. Do I think Dakota could win here? Sure. But at these numbers, you got to take a flyer on Santos. So if you don't take Santos, the other option, take Dakota to win by TKO KO or Santos to win by decision, a double method. We're going to go both those ways.
I have been doing this with you for 4 years now. I don't think I've ever seen you pick more underdogs than I've seen on this episode of Betting the PFL. I'm really extra excited now. But now we've arrived, Ian Parker, at the main event of the evening. I'm talking about Brendan Loughnane. That if you're looking for a person in a face that's synonymous with the PFL, it's Brendan Loughnane. He's looking for a second PFL $1 million championship. But what do we always say? You have to earn it. And going 3-0, that's not good enough because the man standing on the other side of the smart cage, he has a big old fat donut next to his name, Mr. Hizriev. Loughnane, Hizriev, main event. I'm here for it.
There's Brendan Loughnane, 2022 featherweight champion. He has geared every single thing in his life around winning another PFL belt. Timur Hizriev, undefeated as a pro. Wushu Sanda background, incredible wrestling, and a gas tank for days.
Great takedown by Timur.
This is some of the best striking we've seen out of Timur Hizriev.
Countering the low kick with punches. Man, he's so fast, Hizriev.
Incredible quickness.
He's got to be careful putting his head down. That's
Another right hand, like a laser.
Big cut on the forehead of Gonzalez.
Striking away. Oh, Kaikamaka's down.
Normally at this weight, we have seen knockouts, but we've seen fights also go a fairly long time. What do you see in our main event, November 29th?
I think this fight's going to go a very long time. Two very smart guys, durable fighters. For Hizriev, he's going to want to use his wrestling. For Loughnane, he's going to want to keep it on the feet, lateral movement, get in and out. His kickboxing has looked very good. But if he kicks above the knee, he risks getting caught, getting taken down. So we're going to see a lot of calf kicks from him. Coach, over 4.5 rounds. If that goes above minus 200, then we can take the fight to go the distance, get that to come down, make it more playable, and that's how we're going to go.
Now, I need something specific. No, what's the word I'm looking for? Bold. I need a bold prediction from us, Mr. Ian Parker. Where are we going today?
I'm going to go Rabadinov to knock out Brent Primus in round 4. We just saw him do it earlier on this season. Brent Primus, as I mentioned, and if you don't catch the show, you're losing out because I'm going to be printing money for this final event of the year. Primus gasses in a 5-round fight. He puts a lot of energy into top pressure. He's going to have to try and wrestle. He's going to really exhaust that gas tank a lot against Rabadinov. Rabadinov is going to keep it standing. Phenomenal cardio. Knockout round 4. We're going to get a really good plus money number on this one.
This is a night in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where lives will be changed in so many different ways. We've got PFL Mina. We've got the showcase fights. You got to turn in right at the start on ESPN Plus. And then the main card, 6 different fights, 12 fighters with a chance to win $1 million. I encourage you to follow the PFL on the X, Ian on the X, your boy at the Coach Rules on the X for the next several days, leading all the way up to fight day. We'll be posting stuff to really get you set from a betting perspective on this entire card, which we could not be any more excited for. For Ian Parker, I am the coach. We'll see you next time, which would technically be next year, right here. A lot more episodes on betting the PFL. Good luck.